Obviously, I am a fan. I have waited so long ever since they did the announcement to watch this movie, and finally I got the chance to watch it on Saturday, and the wait was so worth it. The suffering and the anguish of having to count down the seconds, the minutes, the days in order to for this movie to arrive, worth it. Now, starting this review, I'm going to say that this is going to be a spoiler-free review. The only thing that I'm going to put, I usually put images on my video, and I'm going to only put the poster image, and that's it. I know that there are people who are super hardcore that don't even watch the trailer because they want to go as blind as possible. By the way, respect for that. So poster image only and spoiler-free review. Now, as soon as the movie starts, you obviously the first thing that you're going to see is the animation, and I'm just going to say the animation was so crisp and so detailed. It just felt so immersive in certain scenes. I felt like I was right there next to the characters, beautifully done from the 2D to the CGI. And yes, obviously there's going to be CGI because that Infinity Castle, animating that all in 2D animation is an impossible task. So it's perfectly understandable. Even when they do a wide shot, and you can see the the enemies from far away, and you can see that they're in CGI models, but it is so far away that you cannot see the imperfections or anything like that. So I think also didn't have any problems. But yes, the animation beautiful. Now, when it comes to the soundtrack, phenomenal. I mean, the music in this movie hit every scene perfectly, from the emotional to the action-packed scenes with the fighting. I mean, in certain scenes, the music hit so beautifully and so hard that the hair on my arm was starting to stick out. So yes, this is the type of soundtrack that you can download and listen while you're exercising, or simply or going for a morning walk, walking your dogs, or just to spend time and wanting to listen to something good. So give it a listen. You're not going to be disappointed. I did, and it was phenomenal, like I said. Now, for the fight scenes, each single fight was a technical marvel to watch. I mean, you can just see the amount of talent that work on this movie, because the fight scenes against certain Hashiras and Zenitsu, against certain upper moon demons, upper moons, or demons that you see wander around, so well done. I mean, is the Hashra doing certain breath techniques, and watching how callous and the way that the upper moon disregard human life, and think of them only as toys, or just simply a means to an end. Just it was just I am lost for words of how impressive these fight scenes were animated. I mean, like I said, the talent, they went all out for this movie, and I cannot wait for the second movie. In sadly, most likely be like a 3 year wait, but I'm perfectly happy to wait that amount of time if we get again this level of talent and quality. So now, for the last thing that I want to talk about is the story. Now, obviously, there's not much I can talk about, because the goal of the movie is simply killing demons and find Musang and kill him. But let me just say one thing that I can talk about is that yes, in this movie there's a lot of backstory and flashback throughout the movie through for many different characters, and I have zero problems with it. I know that there are many other reviewers out there that gave the movie, for ludicrous reason, a low score, just because of the amount of flashback there was in this movie. But I have zero problems with the flashbacks. Each one of them, I think they were timed perfectly, and the duration of each one was okay. Was in a perfect duration. The only one that I think that I have a problem with was literally the last flashback of a certain character that, in my opinion, it just ran a little bit too long. That was the only flashback that I got a little bit antsy and was starting, when is this flashback going to be over? I want to go back to the fight. So that's the only flashback that literally the last one. Yes, it was very revealing to that certain character, revealing how he is the way he is, but still they couldn't make it shorter. I know that ever since the beginning of Demon Slayer, the first season, the animator, the studio has done a good job, and not just simply animating, adapting the manga one for one, and that's being it. No, the studio expand on the manga. They add stuff. They add more backstory. The action much longer. So yes, they also sadly, well, not sadly, but they also expanded on that last backstory, and that's the reason that why it felt so long, because in the manga it was more focused and more contained. Now I'm going to end the review here. Now I don't want to risk the chance of giving up a spoiler or spoiling certain plot points. So I'm going to give this anime a score of 9 out of 10. Why a 9? Why? Because I just love this movie so much. Well, he has his problems. Like I said, the last flashback ran way too long. This being a trilogy, there was just so much unanswered, and certain Hashras were just there fighting lesser demons, and they didn't get their time to shine. So there was this sadly being a trilogy. Yes, I'm going to, let's say, because okay, let's say this being a trilogy, I'm going to deduct half a point because there was just so much unanswered, and another half point because of the last flashback of the movie that ran way too long. So one single point I'm going to deduct from to this movie being a 9 out of 10. So I'm going to end it here. Go watch the movie whenever you have time, and you are not going to regret it. It was such a good time watching it in opening weekend with a lot of fans being in cosplay and with shirts and everything. It was just a blast. So have a great day. Sorry, have a good day. Have a good night wherever you're from. See you next video.